So we have one activity here, right? Suppose you are designing a sprinkler system for some office, right? And not for the office, let's say maybe some mechanical room or some area where there is no HVAC unit, no air conditioning system. The temperature is around 70 degrees Celsius into that room, the ceiling temperature. So what should be the temperature rating of the sprinkler? Looking at this table, the one in the previous we discussed. Yes, the temperature ratings had be between 121 to 149 degrees Celsius. Normally it is around 79 degrees Celsius they used to install in the mechanical room. You guys are there?
Yes, Mr. Rob, you can hear you clear.
Okay. So
Me too, me too.
so if the temperature inside the room is 70 degrees Celsius, the ceiling temperature, and we have to install a sprinkler system into that, so what should be the rating of those sprinklers bulb, right? So it should be in between 120 to 149 degrees Celsius based on the temperature and all. Normally they select 79 degrees Celsius for the mechanical room and all. Okay, now we came for the K factor, or we can say it orifice size, which is represented by K, and it tells us how much water will flow from which sprinklers and what should be the pressure requirement for that. So the pressure and the flow requirement will decide us to select a sprinkler system orifice. So we have the formula K equals to Q over P power 0.5. So this is the formula we have to use for sizing the K factor based on the flow and pressure, where Q is the flow and P is the pressure. The one you can see big one, right? It will give us the more water quantity compared to this small one, right? So if this is a K 5.6, it must be around K22 or K26. The higher the K factor, the higher the flow from the sprinkler system. So why larger K factor? Why there are different size of the K factor we have? So the higher the K factor, the larger the water droplets that penetrate the fire plume, right? And it discharges the same water density at lower pressure. Uh, we have two tables, right? One in the left and one in the right. From the table, we'll see how K factor affect the flow and pressure, right? So the first one, let's say you selected a sprinkler system with a K factor of 5.6, and the pressure at those sprinkler node we have 21.55 psi. So what should be the flow from that sprinkler? we'll get 26 CPM. And if you are going higher to 8.0, the pressure reduced to 10.56, the flow is the same. And all the way, if you are going to K 16.8, and we have the flow same into the column, all the four, and at 2.39 psi, we are getting the same flow. So a single system need minimum 7 psi, right? But these two sprinklers, 11.2 and 16.8, can provide us this much flow. So you got the idea of this K factor, different sizes, and the flow, right? Suppose you are designing a sprinkler system, right? And you need, let's say you need 26 GPM, right? And you have installed a sprinkler, and the pressure at those location is around 12 psi, right? Suppose you need 26 GPM at the max remote location, right? And you have pressure at those location is around 12 psi. So we know the most common K factor we are using in the official and residential complex, you know, for the light hazard occupancies is 5.6. Now, if we have if we need 26 GPM, right, and we have only 10.5 psi, so which K factor we are going to use? We will use K factor of 8.0, right? Because at this K factor, right, we'll get the same flow at reduced threshold. So suppose for some of your project, right, or maybe some existing building, right, in the most remote area, so in the most remote area, we need 26 GPM based on our design and calculations. And the pressure there, we don't have 21.55 psi, so we can go further down to the pressure of 10.56 psi, and it will work. Did you got a point? The pressure, K factor, and flow relations. Yes. You guys are able to hear my voice? Okay.
So, Mr. Rabi, you said if the pressure is not enough in the design area, so we can use 8.0
Yeah, we
instead of.
can 5.6 exactly.
Okay.
But we should never go below 7 psi. So if you need more flow and we have less pressure, that time we can go K factor one larger size.
Hey. Clear.
Now Now regarding the table at the right, now you can see in the right side, right, we have a table for the different K factor. As for NFPA 13, we have K factor starting from 1.4, 1.49, 2.8, 4.2. But 5.6 is the baseline, because you know the 5.6 is the most common K factor we are using in most of the residential, office, and all kind of the light hazard occupancies. So we have given the flow here at 100%. So let's say at 5.6 we are getting a flow of 100%, right? If you are using 11.2, the flow will be almost 2 times. So if your sprinkler is giving 26 GPM at 5.6, the same sprinkler will give you 26 times 2 means 52 GPM at the same pressure. So 11.2 is a larger fish compared to the 5.6. Most of the sprinkler system installed in the warehouse, like ESFR or CMSA or CMDA, those sprinklers need a K factor starting from a minimum of 11.2. We cannot install a K factor of 5.6 in those areas because we want enough quantity of water to fight those challenges of fire. So this is the idea. If you go further up to K factor of 28, right? The K factor is 28, which is too large. It should be the 5 times of the water capacity of 5.6. So if you multiplying this one to these values, we are going to get almost around 125 GPM or even more than that. So this is the idea regarding the K factor and all.
Mr. Rabi, for the K factor, is it related to the types of hazard?
It is not directly related to the type of hazard. Yeah, of course, it is interrelated. But if there is extra hazard, right? It is related to the types of hazard. Suppose if it is the extra hazard where flammable and combustible material is stored in huge quantity, if there is a fire, to fight those fire, we need more quantity of water. So more quantity of water will only come from the high K factor, not from the small K factor. So in this way, these two are the interrelated. Once you select your hazard and how much you need, how much water you need to fight those area, we have to select the K factor and how much water you need for a square feet. So exactly, it is related to the types of hazard. The higher the hazard, the higher the K factor. Got the point? Yeah,
Mr. Rabi, now
yeah.
all these K factors and the other stuff, where exactly we will need it exactly? Is it during the design only, or during reviewing the installation, or where exactly we will use?
No, actually, no. When you are performing hydraulic calculation in the software, right? So a software will ask how many sprinkler you are going to open, right? So those open sprinkler need to be provide the K factor. There is some setting in the software. There is some setting in the software. There is some setting in the software where we have to select the K factor values. So if you put the 5.6 value, it will automatically calculate how much flow and pressure is there at those points. So you have to put those in the software, and also you are making some construction drawing for the sprinkler system layout. In the drawing, also in the notes and the titles, you have to put the value of the K factor, the how much flow we are getting from all those area.
So it's this part is only during the design of the system, and that's it, right?
Yeah, it's design of the design of the system also, and once after design, the consultant want to review that install the correct amount type of the sprinkler system. They might go at the site and they will see at the deflector. At the deflector, there is a stamp of the K factor, the one we discussed in previous class regarding SIN, right? It's sprinkler identification number.
Yeah. So during commissioning of the system.
Yeah, during commissioning and acceptance test, they will see that one. So K factor, we have to start the basic of sprinkler from the K factor, how much water we need.
Yeah.
Now, if you are installing 5.6 into a high challenge fire, let's say there is a rubber tire storage areas, or there is a plastics of group A plastics, you are installing 5.6. In this time, the water will be not enough to fight the fire. So what will happen? while water coming from the sprinkler system, in case of the fire, right? This is your fire area, and if water coming from the top, it will never reach the seat of the fire, the bottom of the fire. What will happen? All the water while coming in onto the fire, right? In between the middle, all the water will convert to the steam or vapor, and it will go off like a steam, because the quantity of heat is so much in kilowatt that small water cannot fight that one. So we need high quantity of water to those fire, like all of the ESFR sprinklers or CMADA or CMSA start from 11.2. So the higher the K factor, the higher the water requirement. Some of the K factor, some of the sprinkler in the high challenges wear out fire provide 125 GPM, also 100 GPM, right? So that is so much huge quantity compared to the office installation where we need at least 15 GPM or 20 GPM, almost 5 times than this quantity. So these things need to be considered while you are designing the high challenges fire. Let's say if you are designing a extra hazard fire or group A plastics fire. Okay, we have one activity here, but I think the question is not coming to the screen exactly. I will just write the value so that you guys have to calculate. The activity says the K value of the sprinkler is 5.6 and flow we need equals to 25 GPM. So how much pressure we need to give a flow of 25 GPM at K factor of 5.6? You guys have to calculate this one by using the formula, the one I discussed in the beginning. You can type the answer in the chat box, or you can speak after your calculation. Yes. Oh my God. Who is 0.79 psi? How it is possible? It is not 797 psi or 0.797 psi. It's totally invalid. It's totally invalid. It's never possible. We need minimum 7 psi for a sprinkler as per NFPA 13, and maximum is not more than 175 psi. This pressure range will destroy the complete fire protection system along with your building. So huge pressure. Okay, I'm coming back directly to the answer, right? I will just wait for one more candidate if he can give the values, and then I will go to the answer directly. Yeah, exactly. 20 psi is the correct answer. There is no answer for this one. It is 20 psi. You just have to use the formula, this formula. This formula, we have the K factor, we have the flow. So just put this Q to that side and uh, P to that side and do some basic mathematics. We'll come to that point. So minimum 20 psi we need for that flow. This is the idea behind the K factor sizing.
Mr. Ravi, but in this case, if you can go back to the table,
Okay.
the 5.6 K factor, the
Yeah.
starting pressure is from 21.5 psi, right? So
Yeah.
so we have to go up to the 21.5.
No, it's not like that. You know, we calculated the minimum we need 20 psi based on our theoretical calculation. But
Yes.
we understand that in the fire protection system, right, the pressure will never be exactly what we determined. The pressure will be based on the flow requirement on and all from the fire pump. So the pressure will go higher, right, a little bit higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
We need minimum 20 psi for that one. This is our bottom. The higher is higher, we don't have any problem for that.
No, but what is this column starting pressure mean exactly?
Means that
The third column is 21.5 and 10.5 and
yeah. At 21.5 psi from 5.6 K factor, we'll get a flow of 26 GPM. So if pressure go up, this one will give you more pressure. Sorry, if pressure goes up for 5.6, the flow will be more than 26, maybe 30, 35, 40. Now it's based on the pressure, you know.
this is not does not mean exactly the minimum pressure.
Yeah, it's exactly the minimum we need at the remote location 7 psi. Maybe at the remote we calculated 7 psi, but the fire just started in the beginning of the riser. So that place maybe we'll get 30 psi or 40 psi or 50 psi. So we don't have any problem with that as much as we are getting those flows and pressure.
No, I'm a little bit confused. Now for the 5.6 K
Okay.
factor,
Okay.
the minimum pressure is 21.5, right?